Hey, welcome back to Gels on Sports for your Super Bowl special preview, which is going to be totally freaking awesome. I'm Mike out here in Columbus. Zach, how you doing, man?
Doing all right.
I like it. How's your weather down there in Athens, Ohio?
It's fine. It's very wet. It's
Yeah,
all
for
right.
for those of you who have had the privilege of not having to pass through the state of Ohio in your life, this time of year, there's a couple things that are going down. It's raining, or it rained yesterday, and you very rarely see the sun. That's just about any day between now and maybe the middle of April. It's kind of how it is.
Yes.
Yeah, good times. All right. Yeah. Any new sandwich shop in town that you want to give a shout out to?
No, the food here kind of sucks. I miss OU because Oklahoma has good food. Uh, Not too impressed with their stuff here. Um, there's a Sonic though. They have good drinks.
Sonic. Interesting about Sonic. I used to love Sonic's food. The burgers, the chili cheese coney dog, the chicken tender things they had, and somewhere along the line they just kind of started sucking too. I don't know what it is. Occasionally, when I say occasionally, like once a year, I'll go there and get a cherry limeade. That's about it.
It's
I
fair.
don't think Sonic's going to be calling us for sponsorship dollars. Probably not.
Yeah, not anymore.
And we're not supposed to bury these big corporations, but we just did, or at least I did. Maybe they'll contact you.
Yeah.
So we'll see. But anyway, let's see. Yesterday, we went to the Nazareth Cafe in Gahanna, Ohio. Got some gyros, got some loaded fries, which are freaking glorious. It's good stuff. Very good.
Terrible.
And it was actually much better than what I was about to get before we decided to go to the Nazareth Cafe, because I was at Costco and for half a second, I was thinking, maybe I just get a Pepsi and a hot dog tonight for $1.50. No, didn't do that. Ended up getting the euro. I made the right decision.
You're gonna put these people to bed, man. I might listen to this going to bed tonight. Goodness gracious.
People
Listen to this guy talk about food.
they
Oh,
want to hear me talk about food because well, my palate actually kind of sucks. But there's some things that yeah, you're right. Yeah, yeah. They're probably hopefully not going to fall asleep. Did we
I might
start
listen.
over? I don't know what I was doing, man. I was just kind of talking out my ass for some reason.
Yeah, you do
What
that a
is?
lot. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's just typical. That's every word out of your mouth.
What? Talking out of my ass? Does it smell like roses too, or what?
Yeah, I don't know about that.
Yeah, I don't know about that either. It probably doesn't, but probably more like Hormel chili or something worse.
No more chili, man. All right, no more food.
I didn't say anything about Skyline chili.
Well, nothing. Just it's done. We're like 5 minutes into this, and these people are saying these guys are dorks. They're talking about food. There's no Super Bowl.
So anyway, Super Bowl Sunday is coming up next week, and we got a rematch of the 2019 game with the Kansas City Chiefs and the San Francisco 49ers. So, hey, you could argue that the 49ers were one of the top two or three teams all season. They had that little losing streak in the middle of the season, but they were mostly dominant from the middle part to the end. They beat the crap out of a bunch of teams. Um, they kind of got handed it to a couple times there in the middle, and then toward the end, Baltimore beat him down pretty good. But we all know that the Ravens couldn't make it past the Chiefs. The Chiefs, on the other hand, all they do, like we talked about the other day, all they do is win. Their offense was a step behind this year. A lot of drop passes on makeable plays where they lost games, but they got better in the playoffs. Their defense has been great all year.
It's an interesting matchup having a dodo like Brock Purdy slinging the rock against a elite defense. I watched the guy play in Norman. He got held to 14. No, well, held to 14 by a speed D, Alex Grinch defense. They scored a garbage time touchdown, so they got 21. Um, this dude's throwing little drag routes and hitches on 5 yards down the field or a dump off the MVP running back.
Mm.
So I don't like all this talk about him. People are saying, "Oh, he's not a system quarterback." Well, Jimmy Garoppolo went to the Super Bowl with this same system, so I don't want to hear it. All right, this guy, he's solid, but throw Zach Wilson on the 49ers and they're still here.
Yeah, you're
So I
probably
don't,
right.
yeah.
Yeah.
But the defense, I think uh, L'Jarius Sneed's gonna have a pick six. I think Brock Purdy's due for a Brock Purdy performance.
Well, he had a Brock Purdy performance the first half, and he had a Brock Purdy performance for most of the game against the Packers a week before. Um, I have to give credit where credit is due. The San Francisco 49ers have won a lot of games with Brock Purdy as quarterback. Uh, he made some plays out there the other night against Detroit with his legs mostly. Some of that stuff, I don't know how much credit he can take care for, like the Brandon Ayuk face mask bouncing catch. I mean, that ball was overthrown. Um, that one third down play where he shot put the ball. I don't know. That wasn't one of their star receivers. That was one of their fourth or fifth guy who jumped high in the air and one handed it, brought it down. But Purdy, he avoided the sack a few times, especially down there in the shadow of their own end zone. He completed that 10-yard first down to Kettle. Um, just he's not Patrick Mahomes. He's not an elite quarterback, but he is a guy who fits in the system that the San Francisco head coach Kyle Shanahan runs. And he runs it pretty well. I mean, if my job was to hand off the ball to Christian McCaffrey or Kittle or Brandon Ayuk or to do everything Debo Samuel out there, um, well, my statistics would still suck, but you know, you could probably take a lot of guys out there and they would do just as well as Brock Purdy. But Brock Purdy right now is a man. Yeah, I am going to say this: come Super Bowl Sunday, he's going to have to not have these stretches where he just totally sucks. So if he does that against the Chiefs are going to wipe the floor with him.
Well, the Chiefs are gonna control the game. The Chiefs are gonna move the ball and they're gonna have 40 minutes of possession. That's just how they play. And we're gonna get in the second quarter about halfway through, and it's going to say 18 minutes time of possession for the Chiefs, and it'll be like 7-3 or something like that. And
Mm.
you don't think too much of it when the scores like that, but they're controlling the game, and I think the Chiefs know what they're going to do. They have a great coordinator that's going to have a great game plan. I mean, they shut down Lamar Jackson, made him look like an amateur.
Yeah,
So I think a team that predominantly relies on a lot of routes underneath the linebackers and the 5 yards that they are from to the line of scrimmage. Um, they're going to have to stretch the ball deep. Brock Purdy is going to have to win the Super Bowl. And I don't know if Brock Purdy
mm,
and win the game just on him. I don't know if those belong in the same sentence. He's going to have to make the big time throws, the scrambles. He's going to have to do that, and the Chiefs are going to be ready for it.
Yeah, there are certain things that we know because they were proven the past few years. Patrick Mahomes can win a Super Bowl. He can win a game on his own. And it doesn't matter what receivers he's got. The guy is that good. He's got those kind of credentials. He can do it. The Chiefs have proven winners all over the field. And they've got Isaiah Pacheco has had a pretty darn good comeback since he returned from injury in the playoffs. The Ravens defense is much more stout than San Francisco. I could see him getting 80, 100 yards rushing in this game if they needed him to, if they wanted. The Chiefs don't necessarily play ball like that. They'll throw a 4 yard out to Kelsey, or they'll hit Rice out there in the flat for 10 yards. To them, that's just like a running play. Um, the Chiefs aren't going to beat themselves, with possibly some exceptions because their offensive line does tend to get penalized a lot. But look around the field. Um, you're not going to get deep on the Kansas City's defense, and they are so good on defense. You expect them to do things to disrupt the 49ers bread and butter, which is their underneath game. Get the ball to these superstar guys and let them run. So uh, I think that just in particular, Debo Samuel, that guy is damn near impossible to bring down. He's one of those guys. Um, if he's not getting out there and breaking tackles and breaking off 15-yard gains when it should have been three, I don't think the 49ers have a chance in hell of winning this game.
That was a great point because you see at times he'll catch a pass and they'll have him stopped for like a 2 yard loss, and he'll shake that off and go for 17.
Yeah.
The I just don't think that'll happen. The Chiefs are going to have, I think they're going to walk their safeties up a little bit, knowing what they like to do, which, as you said, is just throw it short across the field. Um, but I just don't know, man. I think they're a really good team. You have to be really good to be in the playoffs, but especially the Super Bowl. Um, I just think the Chiefs, they have that experience at that level. They have best football player in the world on their team, and they have these guys that are impact players, and they are good for 2 or 3 plays that in the stat sheet you'll kind of glance over it at the end of the game, but they're really big. And I think what I think, I don't know if it's going to be as much on Pat. He's going to make the plays. He is. He absolutely is. I think Kansas City is going to lean on that 49ers D line. I think they're going to have a game plan set for Nick Bosa. They're going to have him double teamed all day, all night. And they're going to run down their throat with Pacheco and Edwards Hilaire. I'm thinking they're going to have 170, buck 80 yards. And I think they're going to lean on them. You're going to see some hands on the hips in that second half for sure. But Pat's going to make those plays. Kelsey's going to make those plays. Um, the short stuff that Rasheed Rice takes 15 yards, that's
Hmm.
going to make sense. And it's going to be a battle, though. I could see this being a really tight game and then someone kind of pulls away at the end.
Yeah, we've seen plenty of Chiefs games where it seems like they dominated, and then you look at the end of the game, they're in victory formation to run the clock out, and the final score is 27-18 or 27-19. And thinking, well, it seems like they really beat up the other team, but they don't. They're so good. We talked about this last week. They're so good at managing the clock. They shortened that game. They reduced the number of possessions that the opponent gets and makes them count even more. Especially this year with their complementary defense that's so freaking good. Um, yeah, I like what you mentioned about them bringing the safeties up a little bit. Brock Purdy hasn't proven to be able to throw the ball downfield, and that's obviously not their game. The crazy pass they had with the helmet bounce off catch was a total fluke. No, they want to get the ball to those guys, those superstars, and let them run. Get it to them short pass, and that's what they're going to try to do. And what's different this week between the upstart Detroit Lions had a hell of a season, respected them, and the Kansas City Chiefs is the Chiefs are proven. They got that Mahomes guy. They've got these big money players like Travis Kelce, who has definitely come alive in the playoffs after kind of a so-so regular season. Um, those crazy plays that Detroit was trying to make on fourth down the other day, you trust Kansas City to make those plays on third down. Okay, they're not gonna get to that fourth down like that where, well, hell, they probably will. Who knows? But we've seen Kansas City make these plays on second and third down before, so where they don't have this all or nothing. Um, to me, yeah, look, San Francisco, they're too good to roll over and die in this game. They're gonna hit something. It's gonna happen. It might be off it bounces off three defensive players' face mask, and Brandon Ayuk picks it up like the immaculate reception and runs 50 yards for a touchdown. That's going to happen. McCaffrey is too good to shut him down the whole game. He always gets a touchdown. He will probably get a touchdown. Um, but to me, the obviously the moment's not too big for either one of these teams. They're both championship teams, and they definitely earned their way here. This smells like one of those, uh, you know, 27 to 20 games that really wasn't as close as the final score.
Yeah, yeah, I could see that. I think the Chiefs will control the game. I think they'll instill their game plan early. They'll impose their will. They'll go down on that first drive and get a touchdown. I think they're gonna, come out firing. I do, and it's up to them to keep their foot on the gas. The one thing we've seen with the Chiefs, as good as they've been, and their defense has been good enough, so it hasn't mattered.
Hmm.
But they haven't landed that knockout blow, and they're gonna be hyped up, biggest game. Everyone, every play going as hard as they can. I think they can definitely land that blow this game. I think if they wear them down, running the ball late in the game, it'll be, I don't know, 2 minutes left in the third quarter. One score game, and they just punch it in for a touchdown. I think they can definitely do that. I think uh, whoever can get the running game going is going to win. And I think that their O line is better than the 49ers D line. I really do. And they have Pacheco who runs like he's angry at the ground, and he always gets those extra yards at the end. And man, it's gonna be it's gonna be a battle early, but someone's gonna wear down. It's just gonna happen. And if you can shut down the simple plays that the Niners try to get going, um, they're gonna fall. They really are. I don't think the Chiefs aren't gonna blow a 17-point lead. They're not gonna make a stupid mistake. They're gonna take the points. They're not gonna do that. The only thing that has been their kryptonite kind of has been little mistakes like a holding here and there. They ball security, they fumble. So 49ers be opportunistic when you get those turnovers, you got to score. You have to.
Yeah, yeah. The ball control with the Chiefs is a huge thing for them. They do such a great job with that, managing that clock. They're in the first quarter, they're on a long drive. They're snapping the ball with 6 seconds left on the play clock. And things like that add up over time. And I've mentioned this way too many times already, decreases the number of possessions that the 49ers are going to have. That's what the Chiefs do. And um, they've been proven to make the big plays when they have to. And their defense is so good this year. I just, I don't know. There was no way I was going to pick San Francisco to win anyway. Um, Even if it was against the Ravens, I thought that the three best teams in the playoffs this year were the Chiefs, the Ravens, and the friggin' Buffalo Bills. If the Bills were in this position right now, I would be picking them to win. But well, they didn't win. So um, just there's a lot to take in, and over the next few days here until the actual game, you're going to see tons of stuff about matchup breakdowns and um, all that. But at the end, you've got Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes. You got Kyle Shanahan and Brock Purdy. This is whether we like it or not, and for all the haters out there, this is a quarterback-driven league. Do you trust Brock Purdy to make the play when it counts? Okay, he has done some in these playoff games, but he's done a lot of not great stuff. And you do that against the Chiefs, you lose. It's been proven to happen. You lose. You have to play a perfect game to beat them, and then you need them to have some drops to screw things up that they don't typically do. So
Yeah, yeah.
the margin of error the Chiefs have is much more than what it is for San Francisco. Regardless of how good San Francisco was this year, they don't have any margin of error. Um, I want to say something to all our fans out there. I'm not a Chiefs fanboy, I've always kind of liked the Chiefs, but um, I appreciate what they've done. And I like watching them play, and I like the fact that they've got this defense just phenomenal this year. Um, just to me, 49ers have been holding on by a thread, and it just seems like that thread's going to snap, and it's going to be in the biggest game.
I agree. I think luck and those bounces that always seem to go your way, um, relying on that, it's not going to last. And Pat Mahomes isn't going to fumble a snap, or the defense isn't going to bust a coverage like that. And
There's one thing to, you mentioned that about not fumbling the snap. I have noticed something. I don't in recent times, his center, Creed Humphrey, just a great player out of Oklahoma. There's been a lot of low snaps lately, and we talked about whatever kind of a break San Francisco gets in this game, they're gonna have to turn into points. We've seen Mahomes, get the ball, and he makes chocolate cake out of sardine cake. That didn't make any damn sense, but you get the feeling. He makes it work, whatever he's got. Okay. But that is something to watch, the quarterback center exchange on when they're in the shotgun, because there has been quite a few low snaps to Patrick Mahomes lately.
well, they just have to do something with it, and they might get one break, or two, and they have to make it count. They have to. And maybe I'm just downplaying the 49ers. I just think the Chiefs are that much better. I think they have the role players that are going to make the plays, the tough catches, the 3rd and 7, they're going to get 8. And I really think the run game is going to be huge for them. Uh, but the impact players aren't the Kelseys. I mean, he's gonna play well. He always does, but it's gonna be like a Rasheed Rice, 17-yard touchdown, or Edwards Hilaire takes a screen pass on 3rd and 11, gets 10, they go for it on fourth, and they convert. It's stuff like that. And for the 49ers, if those little short routes are shut down, you're gonna have to push it deep, and they're gonna cover Debo up. Ayuk as well. But Kittle and Jawan Jennings, they're going to have, 40 yards, 50 yards each if they want to win this game. Because they are going to have a game plan for those big stars and those impact players. So these other guys that they're definitely not brushed off, but you're not as worried about putting two guys on them. They're going to have to make those one-on-one plays.
Yeah, I think that the whole key for San Francisco is getting Kittle involved more in this game. Um, that's going to be tough because, like you mentioned a little bit ago, I would totally expect KC to bring their safeties in a little bit. And when you do that, that creates less space for the tight end. And then on top of all that, KC's pass rush has just been phenomenal. Um, Purdy was able to escape a little bit with Detroit. Um, Detroit, even when they had a quarterback spy back there, they had somebody who runs about as fast as I do these days. And that's not fast for those of you who don't know. But um, just sets up pretty well for Chiefs. Comfortable win. Now, all that said, this is still the Super Bowl, and sometimes weird crap happens. You got all this pomp and circumstance. You got 2 weeks off, okay? Well, the players don't have it off. They probably have a few days off, but it's 2 weeks between games. That allows, some guys to heal up a little bit. That allows others to maybe get some rest. There is no way you can avoid all of the sports talk and pop culture talk and everything else about the Super Bowl. It's not possible. Other than if you completely turn off all of your electronic devices, your TVs, you don't look at any print media at all. It's everywhere between now and then. The Super Bowl's the most watched program in the United States every year. Um, it's huge. It's bigger than life. All the commercials, all the media obligations a couple days before, and then something else. Okay, the Super Bowl has that, was it 25-minute halftime? The halftime is double the time. And we've seen teams that were playing real well in the first half come out and be flat in the second half after that long halftime. So there's a lot of factors involved, and with that, the constant the past 5 years has been the Chiefs make it happen. If we go back to the Super Bowl that they played with after the 2019 season, the Chiefs didn't play very well on offense the whole game, and San Fran was ahead 20-10 in the fourth quarter, and then they flipped the switch and bam, they took off. Ended up winning by 11. Uh, San Fran is still pretty much that same kind of team, but the Chiefs, they might be not be scoring 45 points every week, but they still have Patrick Mahomes, they still have Kelsey, and now they have this top-ranked defense to go with it. I think that in this game is an unbeatable combination.
I My thing is that defense is so good that you get 20 points, maybe 17 points, and the game might be over because of
Yeah.
how good they've been. And with those short routes that the Niners like to run, if that first read isn't there, that pass rush is going to get to you, and you're going to have to make a decision. And man, it's going to be interesting to see if they bring in tight ends to block or if they have halfbacks in the backfield because that pass rush is going to come. They're going to blitz. Um, they like to blitz a lot, and even when they just bring four-man pressure, they get to you. So I think the Niners are going to have to use tight ends for blocking. I think George Kittle, his impact, he's going to have catches. He's going to have to if they want to win, but he is going to have to block. He's going to have to block really hard on the outside. Um, they like to bring those blitzes from the outside on the corners. Um, they they're very complex with how they operate on defense, and the 49ers are not complex how they operate on offense.
Mm-mm.
So um, it's definitely a clash of styles there. And as you said, the distractions, the obligations, a lot of these guys have never played in a game of this magnitude and might not ever again.
Yeah.
And the Chiefs have been here. Andy Reid's been there. Pat, he's been there. Um, I just don't think the moment is too big for them. It never is. They will be down, like you said, and they they don't get upset. They don't start jawing at each other. They go out there and play, and they're a unit. They play really well. They feed off each other, and if they get on a roll, then it's going to be tough to get them off. But 49ers, they just gotta get going. They gotta get in that rhythm. They gotta, not even score some drives, but just not go three and out, not turn the ball over, but consistently move the ball on defense, do the little things right. No holdings uh, on the outside, not missed tackles, blown coverages, stuff like that. Uh, one little play that doesn't seem like it'll impact it too much, that could be the game.
Yeah, one other thing here, neither one of us like the kickers. We don't like to talk about the kickers. But the 49ers kicker, he's missed quite a bit lately, Moody. Uh, Harrison Butker, he's proven championship, made plays. Yeah, this game is in Vegas inside the dome. The weather isn't a factor there. That's another thing. I mean, he missed a 40-yard field goal against Detroit there that was the first drive of the game, missed a field goal. So you have to make those in this game. Okay. I do think the pathway for the 49ers is keeping the Chiefs out of the end zone, holding them to the field goals, and then for some chaos to happen with the Chiefs offensively. Okay. Weird stuff that doesn't typically happen with Patrick Mahomes. A batted ball by Bosa. Warner gets a just some kind of a bizarre interception. The ball bounces off the official's head or something. Okay. Weird. The weirdness, the chaos theory is going to favor the 49ers because that's where they play. They play in that space. The, but it doesn't matter. The Chiefs, whatever happens, they're still going to be there, and they're going to be there at the end. I if the 49ers somehow won this game, it's because they made some kind of miraculous play at the very end. The Chiefs could win a very close game or they could blow the 49ers out. And I think those are the three possible scenarios.
Yeah,
Um, just I'm gonna take the Chiefs and I'm gonna take them 27-20. They end the game with like a 5-minute drive and victory formation down at San Francisco's 10-yard line. So could have been more. I think that so far the line on the game is 2.5 points for San Francisco. I don't quite understand that. That might change in a few days. I'm not going to put any money on the game anyway, but a lot of people are gambling freaks these days because all the DraftKings and commercials and stuff. But yeah, I get Chiefs hoisting the Lombardi Trophy for the second year in a row, 27-20.
I think, like you said, this could be a field position game. Um, teams getting a first down or two. Punts are going to be big in this game because you have a stupid fair catch inside the 10 or something, and you should have let it go.
Yeah.
Uh, or not getting a fair catch. That ball rolls another 15 yards. That's huge. And to win this game, you're going to have to kick field goals. You're going to have to kick 2 or 3 field goals. You're not going to punch it in every time you get in scoring range. You're going to have to hit those. And the operation on the snap, the hold, everything has to be perfect.
Hmm.
Um, you've drilled it thousands of times, but on a stage like that, you can let it get to you, and stuff like that can make a difference. But you're going to have to kick field goals in this game. You're going to have to take points. You're going to have to take what they give you. You don't have to be a hero. Someone out there on either team, they're going to be playing hero ball. They're going to say, I'm going to make a highlight. I'm going to be remembered. And that could cost their team the game.
And that cost Detroit and that cost the Ravens.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's a matter of, playing within your own lines and understanding that, hey, moment's big, but we're just playing football at the end of the day. We got to go out there, just get points when we can, do the little things right. No holds, no linemen downfield, crap like that. Fair catch, just little things like that. Catch the ball, tuck the ball, get out of bounds. Just those kind of things are going to be magnified in this game. And don't get me started with the officials. I'm hoping they let them play. Typically, they do in the Super Bowl, but I want them to call it uniformly. I want them to, if they call it one way in the first quarter, you got to call it like that the rest. If you
Yeah.
don't call it like this in the second quarter, then you can't call it like that in the third. But I just think they're gonna run the ball. They're gonna eat up that grass in Vegas, um, and I think the Chiefs. I think the Chiefs are gonna land a knockout blow. I do. I think we're looking at like a 31-16 kind of game.
Ooh.
Uh, I could see Purdy, throwing some 60-yard bomb in the second quarter, and we're like, uh-oh. And then after that, they don't do anything.
Is this
So,
a 60-yard bomb from a 6-yard pass or what?
well, well, yeah, that's true. Like he'll throw it 5 yards, and Debo will take it 55, and they'll say, "What a play by Purdy!" Maybe they'll try the play where he throws it with his left hand and it goes for a touchdown or something. I don't know, but yeah, 31-16. I think Pat is gonna get MVP just because it's a quarterback award for the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
But there's going to be a pick six in this game. I'm feeling it. I think L'Jarius Sneed is going to jump something. Those Niners love those short routes, man.
Yeah,
And
they do.
either a spy, a middle linebacker, or outside corner is going to jump one of those routes.
I can see it happening. Well, hey, both of us picked the Chiefs to win, and we are done with our show tonight. And let's just hope it's a good game. Looking forward to it. Super Bowl is always fun. And hope you guys enjoyed the show tonight. Jaws on Sports, like to thank you for hanging out with us tonight, putting up with me the first 5 minutes of the show because I was freaking hungry. I still am hungry. I gotta go get something to eat now. But we'll see you, buddy. I'm Mike. There's Zach. We are out. Have a good night, folks.